we've got to start admitting and accepting the fact that we're all leaders. We are all leaders, no matter who we are, where we live, how much we make, how old we are, how young we are, or ethnicity, wherever. We are leaders. Why are we leaders? Because we have a vision for the world we want to create. We have that vision. We shared it earlier. We want to be awakened and transformed by divine love. We want the whole world to be that way. We want to birth a new reality. Guess who the midwives are? For birthing that new reality. I heard a great thing on a podcast the other day. The person said, I forget his name, but he said, these are indeed dark times, but is the darkness the tomb or is the darkness the womb? And are we about to birth a new reality? I think we are. And we are the midwives. We are the leaders of birthing into that. But it'll only begin when each and every one of us, again, live from that place of consciousness. We can be thinking consciously, but if we don't speak to each other and communicate consciously, then it's sort of all for naught. People who are leading and living consciously realize that their job is to reveal as opposed to conceal when we're communicating with each other. So let's break that down. Let's start with what it means to, when we're living below the line and we're concealing, what we do and how this begins is first, we withhold from each other. We don't tell each other the truth of how we feel or think or believe. And part of what happens is, as human beings, we naturally come up with opinions and judgments about things. If you have not had an opinion or judgment about something yet today, raise your hand. If your hand goes up, you're not being honest with yourself. But it's what we do. It's what our mind does. We have thoughts, and based on our beliefs and experiences, we form opinions and judgments. But what happens is we make the almost fatal mistake of believing that our opinions and judgments are true and right. And when we do that, especially in relation to one another, when we have an opinion or judgment about someone else and we believe it's right, for a lot of reasons, we withhold that. We withhold that because we don't want to get in confrontation with them. We don't want to hurt their feelings. We want to avoid conflict. And then often we get into this insidious thought of, well, there's no point telling them anything because they're not going to change. And nobody else is telling them anything, so why should I? So we withhold, and then because we believe that, then we start to withdraw from them. We withdraw from them. I can't trust you. You haven't realized that you're living below the line, so I can't trust you. That's what we say. I mean, we right there below the line with them, but we feel like that's what it is. You clearly ain't got this down pat, so I can't trust you, so I'm just going to back away. I'm not going to, oh, I love this. This is what we say in New Thought. I'm not going to infect my consciousness with your consciousness. We've, again, room under the bus for one. I've said that in the past. Not saying anyone else here has done that. So that's what we say. And we withdraw. Now, when we start to separate and withdraw from each other, then we do this thing where we start to project. Now, this is where it starts to get fun. Because when we project, what we're doing is that we then start to look for the evidence to support our opinions and judgments that cause us to withdraw. Okay? And whatever that person does or doesn't do, we use it to support our opinions and judgments. It doesn't matter if they're doing the exact opposite. We will find something to believe about them to reinforce our opinion or our judgment. And then, this is when it really gets fun. We don't just believe it, but we start to tell other people about it. I see some of you can relate. Oh my goodness, gossip. The lifeblood of church community. Or so we think. or so we think. But no, it's not lifeblood. It's life draining. It sucks the life and the love and the energy of oneness from a community, from any community, whether it's your church community, your work community, your home community, just anything. It's insidious. And the reason why we do it, the reason why we gossip, is we've got to reinforce the opinions and beliefs that we invented to begin with. And we've got to get others on our side. We got to get validation for the story we've made up. Because if we don't get validation, we secretly realizing that it's not true. But if other people believe it, it must be true, right? The problem is when we live below the line, when I live below the line, I don't see you. All I see is my judgment of you. I have made you invisible. It is the opposite of namaste. Namaste says the Christ being in me acknowledges the Christ being in you, that we are one. When we live below the line, we're saying the opposite. I don't see you at all. All I see is the negative, erroneous story I have made up about you. And therefore, I will separate the antithesis of oneness.